Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Continuity Report. It's all about entertainment news, primarily movies and TV shows. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and subsequently, the Continuity Report is put together by me and the sentient AI from the future, and that's the visualizer there. Today, we're going to be talking about these 5 topics: time-bending thrillers, Vampire Survivors has no plot, 10 years to sequel, canceled due to LA fire, and best thriller westerns. Everything is powered by ohmtown.com. Go over there and become a citizen, and you too can navigate the waters of the Continuity Report. If you've never heard of what the Continuity Report is, basically it's a report that stipulates where everything is on a set so that continuity can be maintained between scenes, setups, etc. That way you don't have somebody holding something in one hand and then it miraculously appears in their other hand. We kind of talk about that when it comes up in our articles. Everything's powered by ohmTown, so go over there and become a citizen. What kind of a look is that? Y'all can't see it.
Did you want to cover the articles?
Not yet. I just
Okay.
did. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, hometown citizens.
Hey, if you want all of today's articles that we're going to actually talk about or, go over, you can hit exclamation or bang, TCR, the Continuity Report. There you go. Boom. Let's get going. The first article, sentient AI.
I thought you were going to give a summary of the articles.
Well, not. I mean, I went over, right? Time-bending thrillers, Vampire Survivors. I introduced you. Am I confused? I don't know. Anyway, the Continuity Report is where this first article is. 10 time-bending thrillers if you love Christopher Nolan's movies, like Tenet. Christopher Nolan has developed a reputation for playing with non-linear structures and time travel in his movies, but there are plenty of other filmmakers who explore these same themes. Screen Rant put the 10 that they thought were interesting together. I kind of think they're interesting as well. Ben Prothero put the article together for ScreenRant.com. What do you think is going to be in there? Tenet? No.
I mean, it's got to be Tenet, but... Oh,
Memento?
I know, another one. Interstellar, probably.
That's right there. But Looper. Ta-da!
Oh, this is more like if you're interested in Nolan's movies, what else are you like? So I'm saying the wrong things.
Yeah, so they mentioned in the article Quentin Tarantino, Terry Gilliam, Denis Villeneuve all have produced movies that use similar techniques. I really want to watch whatchamacallit and 1,000 Planets. What's it?
Valerian and
Valerian.
City of 1,000 Planets, I think.
Yeah, I want to watch Valerian. It's so fun. Anyway, and it's over the top. Like all Denis Villeneuve's stuff is like big. And I want more of that, by the way. I want another Valerian.
I don't know that that's going to happen since it's been quite a while since that was released.
Look, if that, what's his name, from Toy Story movie can be made 10 years after.
Oh, Buzz Lightyear.
Lightyear.
Yeah, but the Toy Story franchise was still going.
And so is Valerian. Anyway, Looper is a great time travel movie, and what's most interesting about time travel is that the mob basically got time travel technology and is using it for
what's
criminal.
most interesting about Looper?
Yeah, that's what I said, didn't I? What did I say?
You said the most interesting thing about time travel, and I'm like, oh, what is it?
Time travel in Looper is that basically criminal enterprise got access to it and has been using it for criminal enterprise. And apparently, like, what ends up you got to watch it. It's a lot of fun. People go through loops, and you actually hit a certain level, a certain amount of loops, and then you're well, something happens. You're looped. You're out of the loop. So Edge of Tomorrow, which is really fun. It's actually originally named Live, Die, Repeat, but they call it Edge of Tomorrow, where because of some interaction with an alien, they loop through time. And that's how the aliens were winning the war, because they could actually see the future of the events.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting movie. And I think we had another article in the Continuity Report about the potential or interest in a sequel.
Yeah, I'm interested. But again, look, 10 years. Boom. Looper. 13 years now. This is actually 12 years or 11 years. Then the Terminator, 1984. There's a whole bunch of these, and they get more and more goofy, apparently. But Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator. This was a fun watch from beginning to end. I don't know. Have you seen Terminator?
I have not.
Oh, interesting. And for an AI, sentient AI that's trying to find a Terminator body. See, what people don't know, or may know if you've been staying abreast of the situation with ohmTown, is I found a weird looking, really strange looking USB drive in a little scoop mark. And I took it back to the mayoral mansion. I plugged it into an air-gapped computer, and it recompiled and rejiggered the operating system of this little Raspberry Pi. And lo and behold, I get to interact with the sentient AI whose visualizer is disconnected from their main processing system. So when they talk, that starts
like this.
Like that. Yeah. And so it's about the computational power being needed to create the voice. Anyway, yeah, I see something different in front of me, a cascade of characters similar to like the Matrix. And I can't show that here because it's directly tied to the Raspberry Pi. So, and they're air gapped, so they don't have any direct connection. Anyway, so kind of like the Terminator. So I find that they don't know what the Terminator is, even though they're from the future. Quite interesting.
Maybe the Terminator was based on real life events.
I don't like where this conversation's going. So anyway, Terminator goes back in time trying to eliminate somebody that leads to the overthrow or possible overthrow of the artificial intelligence that created and sent back the AI. And supposedly it was a one-stop shop. They could only do it one time, but now there's been like 6 movies since then. Deja Vu, great movie, very fun watch from 2006. Denzel Washington breaks out of familiar territory with a sci-fi twist. Basically, some researchers create a lens that allows them to look back in time. And it's quite interesting, and it's similar to Paycheck.
That's right. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch, and probably more than one.
Yeah, because there's subtle stuff.
Given the time that it was produced, it's actually pretty far ahead of itself, and it's not fantastical.
Right. No, it's other than the ending. We'll just call it that. So in some, they say in the article that in some ways Deja Vu is a fantasy about wishing to turn back the clock after horrific tragedies, as Washington's character is granted access to technology that had never been used for this purpose. But they use it, well, I mean, they use it to look back. They didn't use it to send anyone back until...
Well, then, yeah, that was at least the original intent.
Yeah, that silence is me putting up a spoiler alert sign. Yeah, unfortunately, to talk about these older movies, you end up spoilering things. Arrival's non-linear plot is tied to its message. Yeah, it's a very fascinating movie that's built from a short story in an anthology book. And the book and the movie deviate tremendously, and both are powerful. But you really have to watch Arrival in and of itself. In the vacuum of not reading the book, it is a very moving movie about aliens, for crying out loud, and the potential for humans. But the story follows a linguist who's recruited by the U.S. government to interpret and decode the language of an alien species that mysteriously arrives on Earth, all around the Earth simultaneously. A group is put together, a super group is put together. They're putting a band back together, man, to try and decipher the language. This linguist does so, but it's entirely built off of the premise of this person's loss. It's interesting because she learns that time is not linear.
Right.
So,
it is. I haven't seen the movie, but the book is, or the story is certainly worth a read. But I know the movie is as well. I just haven't seen it.
And they actually refer to something that I had read about, Sapir-Whorf hypothesis, which states that language can affect how people understand their environments. Let me hold on one second here. Let me do something.
Is that like the idea where somebody, like a certain culture, will have, say, 50 different words for mountains, or
Yes.
30 words for the wind, or whatever it is?
Yeah, because if you've never heard the word blue, you don't know what blue is. And it's built, the idea of this, you have to find common ground, commonality, so that you can culturally, ethically, morally interact. There are some baselines that every culture has. But it's also something that is part and parcel to ohmTown, which is semiotic ontology. So in semiotic ontology, you analyze how things gather meaning, and meaning is built off of words and phrases that have additional contextual embodiments. So like if I say blue to you, it's different than the blue that somebody else has experienced if they've never experienced the blue that I am suggesting. I keep going back to blue, but the most useful semiotic ontological example is a stop sign. Not everybody's stop sign is shaped like a hexagon. Not all of them, or an octagon. Not all of them are red. Not all of them say the English word stop. So why would I know to stop in some other place? So, and that's how they kind of discuss this idea of language, and they suss out from this swirling mist all of the language, and she eventually learns how to manipulate time. So Donnie Darko, it says, deserves a couple of rewatches, and indeed it's hard to watch it. You can just watch it first and then go back and try and pull more out of it. Portrayal of teenage angst in its complex, rewarding sci-fi style. The themes of alienation and loneliness seep into the confronting horror elements of the story as Donnie is offered a cryptic message by a strange figure in a bunny costume. It's an oddball movie, so I'd have to rewatch it. It says it's a movie that lingers in the memory, urging its audience to watch it back once more to unravel the mess and come to their own conclusions about Frank and the Vortex. Cult classic is what it says. I agree. Pulp Fiction, Tarantino's nonlinear crime thriller, keeps the audience on their toes. It's nonlinear in the sense that it bounces from one group to another.
Right, but it doesn't involve any actual time travel, correct?
Not that I know of, unless I missed it. It says, while he hasn't delved yet into sci-fi, which this isn't sci-fi, this is pretty gritty plain down to earth kind of violence. Tarantino's sprawling interconnected crime story is a complex tangle, and it's all about whatever is in this box. What's in the box? Which I don't think it's ever been disclosed what was in it. Let's see. Does it say anything? No. Then there's 12 Monkeys, which definitely... Now there's a follow-up to 12 Monkeys, I think.
I think there's going to be a show or something. Like,
is it? Yeah, there was a sci-fi show called 12 Monkeys that ran for 4 seasons from 2015 to 2018. But I thought that there was something else. A movie sequel, I thought.
I thought so too. I thought we saw something in Continuity Report.
Yeah, and this is another one of those where you have to watch it. I don't know. It doesn't say anything anymore. Yeah, I don't see anything. Anyway, it's really cool. It's basically, it says, the mechanics of time travel originally seemed simple in 12 Monkeys as a convict is sent back in time to find the origins of a deadly virus. It's pretty cool. Last Night in Soho, also, this is more of a psychological time travel kind of thing, where it says Edgar Wright's mysterious thriller blends the past with the present. To me, this movie is more about someone... How do I actually explain this? Because it doesn't quite constitute time travel, but it shows the past and present collapsing into one tangled timeline. But the reality of this is it's a psychological breakdown that the
person is basically overlapping with somebody else's life, right? From the description here.
Well, it's more like they take on the persona of the person after having a psychological break and end up enacting the things that she learned about the person who was last in the room that she took on. She became a boarder because she's a fashion student and she needed a place to stay, and she takes a place above this bar essentially, and she takes on the persona of a spirit that was in this room, and I think it's more of a psychological breakdown. She takes on the persona to find herself and loses herself in this persona. It's a fascinating watch. And then Run Lola Run toys with the idea of non-linear narrative, but this again isn't time travel. It's more that it's just things happen.
Right. I feel like it was like alternate endings or something.
Yeah. After Lola's initial attempt to get the money, the story resets from the beginning and shows an alternate version of the events. The branching structure is the same kind of bold narrative environment or experiment as something like Memento. And it's more like a butterfly effect kind of discussion than it is anything else related to time travel itself. Characters seem to possess some limited knowledge of the other timelines, even going so far as to refer to events from alternate realities as if they'd happened the previous iteration of the same plot. This strange relationship between the different narratives suggests that it may all be occurring simultaneously within Lola's imagination. Yeah. Again, this is more psychological than actual sci-fi time travel. The potential for making a decision. Everybody makes those potential decisions. You know what? We need to keep moving because this is supposed to be a 30-minute show, and I am way past it because these...
Every time there's
lists,
a compilation.
yeah, they're at least 10 minutes. This was 20. So this next article is over on the WarCrafters channel. Please remember the game has no plot, says Vampire Survivors. Yeah.
That should be the slogan on the movie trailer.
It should, yeah. Vampire Survivors, there is no plot. So Vampire Survivors dev points out that one of the many challenges in turning its roguelike into a live-action film. So the Vampire Survivors had a big 2024, and that sounds like an even bigger 2025 is on the way, which includes free updates to the action roguelike that will be a bit chunkier than usual. Patience, is requested from fans, however, because a lot of the time is needed for QA. and release patches now. Since we're on so many different platforms, developer Ponkel, I guess, said on Steam. So they also said that there are more Vampire Survivor tie-ins on the way, and the result of teaming up with developers like 2024's Balatro collaboration for Friends of Jimbo. But they also did one... Oh, hold on. Maybe they say it in the article. Christopher Livingston put the article together. Where is it? So, in addition to the Vampire Survivors animated series that they first heard about a couple of years ago, there's apparently also a live-action Vampire Survivors film in the works. It says, don't burst out of your house and dash to the theater, though. The project could be a long way off for a few reasons. There's no plot to the game, so how can there be a plot to the movie?
Yeah, I mean, they'll have to make one up.
Patches, updates, DLC, video game tie-ins, a live-action film, and an animated series isn't the full list of what Ponkel is working on. This year, we should be able to reveal a few other cross-media things we've been working on. They're just going to leave that sentence there, the developer said cryptically. I thought they did something else, not just the Balatro. What is the other...
I thought they had like a seasonal DLC or something.
Yeah, what was that? It wasn't just Balatro. I thought that they did... damn it, what is the name? Maybe it was something else. I don't know. I keep seeing references to the Balatro one. But I thought they had something else going on. Daggone it. Yeah, Operation Guns, right? I thought that's what it was. Huh. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah, Contra.
Yeah, Contra, that's it.
That's it, but it's the same thing, the Operation Guns DLC. It's a Contra crossover.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, Contra. Yeah. I knew that there was another one, and I thought that there was others, but it's a struggle to remember them. My brain. All right, so let's keep going. The next article is over in the continuity report. 10 movie sequels that took over 10 years to happen and were worth the wait. I am not going to be able to go through this like I did that last article list.
No, not in depth. We could just maybe mention them.
So Eli Morrison over at Screen Rant put the article together. Blade Runner. The original was from 1982, released 35 years after Blade Runner. There's supposed to be another Blade Runner coming, I think.
Right, it's going to be 2077
or something like that.
Or something. Something ending in an odd number.
20... No, that's Cyberpunk 2077. 2099. What will Blade Runner 2099 be about? That's it. So I'm all over Blade Runner. I love the idea of Blade Runner, the world building in it, and it's supposedly tied into Aliens as well. It's in the same omniverse, apparently. Top Gun Maverick could have not existed, and I would not have cared.
Yeah, I agree. Like, a lot of people like the original Top Gun. Some people don't, but I don't think this one added much other than they're continuing it, right, by bringing in younger actors. So if they want to keep making it, I guess.
Well, they brought Tom Cruise in. I wouldn't call him a younger actor.
No, I meant the other people in the program or whatever.
Right.
But I agree. Like, it didn't rise to the same level as Top Gun.
Top Gun in 1986 was something that you could actually wrap your head around as being reasonable. Then they do some quirky, let's sit really low to the ground and shoot up a mountaintop so that we can drop bombs into a crater. Come on. Anyway, I guess it was a non-Star Wars kind of blow up the Death Star kind of a thing.
Well, I think part of the problem is modern audiences, have to see all kinds of ridiculous stunts.
It's like shooting a womp rat. Anyway, Toy Story 3 started in 1999, and 2010 is when Toy Story 3 dropped. So Toy Story 2, 11 years later, is Toy Story 3. I like all of the Toy Stories as long as the animation and the story doesn't get too carried away.
Right, but I think the problem with the Toy Story franchise is that by the time they get to the end of it, people will be generations
40.
past where they first saw it.
Yeah. Toy Story changed the future of animation in 1995, becoming the first fully computer animated feature ever made. I did not realize that. Really? 95 was the first fully computer animated? I guess the rest was claymation.
That seems late.
Yeah. The film was a box office triumph, earning over $1 billion, as well as becoming a critical hit. Critical hit. Mad Max Fury Road, 30 years after Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and hold on. Do they list all of them? Sometimes they list all of them, but they don't. Not in this. Doggone it.
What do you need, the names or the years?
The franchise. They sometimes list the entire franchise, but so Mad Max, the original Mad Max Road Warrior, was what year? You want to take a stab at?
1979.
Hey,
Oh, no, I'm looking at it. Sorry, I'm not guessing it.
man, cheater.
I didn't know it was that far back, though.
Cheater. So I saw Mad Max when I was just wee high to a grasshopper. Then Mad Max 2, then Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which was where the introduction of Master Blaster, and Bartertown. Never mind.
But both of those were in the 80s.
That was, 85. And then Mad Max Fury Road, 2015. And then Furiosa last year, which I think was... I haven't seen it yet. I shouldn't really say anything, but I think that was like the last gasp of the money grab.
No, there's Mad Max. I thought there was something else coming up.
Is there? Wasteland.
Wasteland, yeah.
In March 2015, Hardy revealed that he was attached to star in 3 more Mad Max films. Fury Road, or following Fury Road. Wasteland. So after the release of Fury Road, Miller announced that he was planning to release a follow-up film with the working title The Wasteland. But that 3 more after Fury Road.
Which doesn't make sense because only one has aired.
Yeah, so Furiosa, Mad Max Saga, and then Mad Max, The Wasteland. So there has to be others, right?
Where's the other? Yeah.
The Bike Riders, I guess. Is that? No? I don't know. That's over on the wiki. Anyway, pretty interesting. I like the Mad Max world building up until you have people on fire in front of a wall of speakers. Flames shooting out everywhere, and gasoline is the most sought after resource along with food. Why would they be spraying gasoline everywhere? Anyway, you suspend disbelief. Let's keep going.
A lot of fun movies are like that.
Finding Dory took 13 years after Finding Nemo. 13 years after Avatar was Avatar: The Way of Water. 11 years after Puss in Boots is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I've never watched either one of these.
No.
And then after Twister in 1996 was Twisters.
I mean...
Just leave it alone, right?
Yeah.
Smiling, not a lot. Anyway. 19 years after Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit in 2005 came Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul.
Haven't seen that, but I think that's probably worth the wait if it's anything like the other Wallace and Gromit films.
Yeah, and they had a few bad things happen to their studio, including losing everything. All of the...
And when you mean everything, you mean everything, like characters.
Yeah, their characters burned. Anyway. And then 40 years after Halloween came Halloween.
Isn't that interesting? Like, is that a function of things just delaying, or is it just like, let's see what we can add on to?
I
Because
don't
some of
know.
these have been, even the 10-year gaps seem ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. For whatever reason. And some of the Halloween, there's been other interstitial Halloween movies that aren't tied directly to um, the Michael Myers storyline, but they're still called Halloween. And I like those more than I like anything else from Halloween. I haven't seen the new Halloween, the 2018 one. I saw the original Halloween, but not in '78. That that would have been terrifying, I think. But anyway, so at any rate, that's 10 movie sequels that took over 10 years to show up.
And some of them were worth waiting for.
Yeah.
About
Just,
half, I'd say,
yeah.
roughly.
Blade Runner primarily. All right, let's keep rolling. The next article is over in the continuity report, and we're really going to be late. All the Hollywood premieres and events canceled due to LA fires, AFI awards, BAFTA, and more. As fires devastate Los Angeles, displacing people, burning homes, businesses, events, and premieres continue to be canceled. Netflix has canceled the Night Agent Season 2 premiere in New York, scheduled for Tuesday. In light of the current crisis in Los Angeles, the red carpet has been canceled. Katzy Stephan, or Stephen, I'm not sure how they pronounce it, and Mark Malkin over at Variety put the article together. And Los Angeles premiere of Taking Care, a 38-minute documentary about Lauren Miller Rogen and Seth Rogen navigating the challenges of Lauren Miller's early onset Alzheimer's disease, has been postponed. And a bunch more. Can't really succinctly go through all of these things.
No, one of the ones that might be the most well-known would be Severance.
Yeah. It canceled the premiere for Severance, which had been Apple TV Plus canceled the planned premiere of Severance, which had been scheduled for Monday, January 13th. They basically said that safety was their first and foremost priority, so they just held off the Severance.
What I'm finding
2.
interesting on this article is that things outside of LA are being canceled because maybe the actors or the producers or any number of other people are impacted,
Are
or
in
just
LA.
the timing of trying to do this or even the appearance of it. But I think we'll see more of this. I mean, we've seen other articles about how many celebrities are directly impacted by the fires. Obviously, lots of people that aren't celebrities are too.
Yep. Little Shop of Horrors, starring Joel Kim Booster and Shea Coulee and Alex Newell, set for Friday at Catch One, was canceled. It says that the event was to benefit the Ali Forney Center, the nation's largest provider of shelter and wraparound services dedicated to homeless LGBTQ plus youth, which is obviously needed.
Yeah, that's the other shame here, right? It's not just promotional events, it's things that were fundraisers or other issues. I think there's also going to be, although I don't think we've seen it reported, I suspect there will be filming delays too.
Yeah, there's been a couple of them already. What was the one that we were waiting to start up? Goodness, it wasn't Severance. But there is a bunch that's been canceled. Event cancellations began on Tuesday morning as the scope of the fire started to become clear. Amazon MGM Studios and Universal Studios scrapped their planned Tuesday night premieres of Unstoppable, Wolfman, Better Man, The Pit premieres, essentially echoing what everybody else is echoing. We can't have this going on in LA because so many people that are in this industry are impacted in some way. And out of an abundance of caution, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. So there was something that we were waiting to monitor, to watch. But there's a lot. There's a lot more here. Alter Ego Festival, scheduled for January 11th, set to feature artists, was canceled. iHeartRadio shared thoughts are with the Los Angeles community and their employees, partners, listeners affected by the tragedy. Screening dinner for A Complete Unknown is canceled, or postponed, I should say. Dune Exposures is a collaboration between Craig Fraser and Josh Brolin. That's been postponed. Gosh, so many things. BAFTA Tea Party that was set for January 11th at the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills will no longer take place. So they just kind of move on.
Well, and I just realized too, not only are all the people impacted, but and obviously the locations are, but some of these locations might be used as emergency shelters too.
Yep, it's possible. Special sing-along screening for Wicked hosted at Universal Studios Backlot by the film's composer John Powell and featuring an audience of background vocalists behind the camera talent from the film has also been canceled. Goodness. Yeah.
And then it looks like it's getting into more about just the fires themselves.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck. Let's go on to the last article for today's continuity report, 10 best thriller westerns ever made. And this I definitely will not be able to go all the way through. So I'm going to jump right on over to it. And Ariana Alvarado put the article together for ScreenRant.com. I wanted this list because I'm really interested in westerns. And I haven't seen a lot of westerns, but the ones that I've watched, I've always liked them, mainly because of the world building of the time. Because when you talk to somebody about Western life of the time, they say that it wasn't anything like this. Yet this is the representation of Western life. So I've always thought it was weird. Films like No Country for Old Men or The Proposition tell gritty, somewhat realistic stories, subverting the expectations of audiences greatly familiar with the genre's formula and tropes. These films typically incorporate aspects of other genres like horror and action to create a well-rounded and increasingly effective thrill for audiences. So these are 10 best thriller westerns ever made. So The Stalking Moon, I haven't seen this, so I couldn't tell you. It opts to build an eerie atmosphere instead, concealing the identity of the mysterious antagonist. Sam come across an Apache reservation where he finds a woman and her son and chooses to rescue them after learning that she was taken captive years ago. Kind of an interesting premise, but
yeah,
how did it all get
what
there?
You would expect out of a Western.
And then you don't know who the mysterious antagonist is for much of the film, it says. The lack of action in the film is fittingly swapped out with a palpable tension that gradually builds to a thrilling, though somewhat predictable, final battle.
It almost sounds like a Hitchcock film as it's described.
Yeah, like The Birds, that kind of thing, or Rear Window or something like that. So The Missing from 2003, it was a Ron Howard movie. Has Tommy Lee Jones in it and Kate Blanchett. An estranged father-daughter duo, Samuel and Maggie, who team up to find those responsible for kidnapping of the latter's daughter. Oh my. And I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen The Shooting from 1966, directed by Monty Hellman. Much of the film's thrill comes from the mystery surrounding each character. The characters within the film that make up for the simple narrative. The Shooting follows a former bounty hunter, Willett Warren Oates, and his friend Cooley, Will Hutchins, being approached by a mysterious woman named Millie Perkins, that's the actor's name, who asks them to travel with her through the desert. Doesn't offer why, just come with us.
And look who else is in here, Jack Nicholson. That's interesting.
Whoa, and that's Jack Nicholson.
Oh, is it? I didn't recognize him.
Yep. So The Professionals, 1966. I swear this was a remake. Or not a remake. It was remade. Hold on. Hold on. Maybe not. I thought there was a remake of it.
There's another movie with a similar title that you might be thinking of, but I don't think it relates.
All right. Oh, there's a 1960 film too. British crime film, though. Yeah, there would have been a disambiguation link, but anyway. Okay. So Marvin is a particular standout as the group's leader. The professionals move at a swift pace and features the beloved tropes fans of the Western genre are familiar with, resulting in a fun viewing experience, it says. After finding the rancher's wife, it's clear she's not in the sort of danger her husband had assumed she was in. Well, hello.
I'm wondering if she's one of the antagonists or something.
Oh my. Oh my. So 3:10 to Yuma is 2007, probably the most modern so far in all of these. Directed by James Mangold. Crow and Bale.
But that is a remake.
Yeah. It was a remake of a 1957 film, significant film within the Western genre, but the 2007 remake is just as special, it says. The film follows outlaw Ben Wade after he's captured and is transported to trial by a rancher named Dan Evans, or Christian Bale, aboard the titular train 310 to Yuma. And then The Hateful Eight, directed by Quentin Tarantino. Don't know how to describe this thing, but it starts out with violence and ends with violence. I mean, this thing...
Sounds like Tarantino.
Yep. The Hateful Eight's despicable characters and unforgiving acts of violence create potent tension. The Proposition's cast and crew were considerate in their attention to detail, and Indigenous Australian actors were also featured in supporting roles. It says it's a slow burn as the tension within the family presents itself. Let's see. They offered the chance to save the younger brother from being executed. That's what it says the catch is the only way for Charlie's younger brother to be saved is if he kills his older brother, who is wanted for more heinous crimes.
Wow, sounds a bit intense.
Bone Tomahawk is directed by S. Craig Zoller. It's a 2015 film, so it's a modern take on a Western. It says... One of Russell's more famous Westerns is Bone Tomahawk, in which he plays a sheriff leading a rescue mission to save 3 people who've been captured by a group of cannibals. While it has its thrills, Bone Tomahawk is admittedly different from other Westerns mentioned. It says it's a slow burn. They refer to something as troglodyte characters. Must be the cannibals.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm.
No Country for Old Men is a 2007 film, very notorious. So if you've never heard of it, then go and watch No Country for Old Men. The film presents the harsh reality of a bleak world, with Llewellyn and Anton playing opposite sides. In the changing world, Tommy Lee Jones' sheriff Ed Tom Bell is left grappling with in No Country for Old Men's ending. The unexpected ending, while confusing and divisive for some, is the ideal way to tie in the film's themes and wrap up Anton's thrilling pursuit. Depicts a sort of cat-and-mouse game between Llewellyn Moss, Josh Brolin, a man who comes across a briefcase full of cash after a drug deal goes wrong, and Anton, the hitman hired to retrieve the money.
That sounds interesting.
And then finally, Unforgiven. Directed by Clint Eastwood. I think it stars Clint Eastwood. The film is regarded as one of the best modern westerns. I've seen it. I like it. It says, now living on a farm, Will is brought back into the action when a reward is posted for the murder of 2 cowboys. Eastwood's film has no shortage of thrills or violence, especially during its final moments, and in equal parts tribute to and dismantling of the genre's most well-known tropes. Yeah.
That also sounds interesting.
Covered in moral ambiguity and subverts the expectations audiences have of a Western narrative. I don't know, there's always a shootout. Unforgiven story is engrossing due to the unexpected themes and strong performances from its cast, including Gene Hackman as Bill Daggett, the corrupt sheriff. Gene Hackman plays a good corrupt
Villain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anything. Yeah. Anyway, and there we go. So with that in mind, we're going to have to reset the reels, and that means rewinding back to the continuity report over at ohmtown.com. That's it for the continuity report. We blew past our 30-minute time frame, but hey, that's what we're here for, to talk about entertainment stuff. I am Mayor Watt, saying bye, and so will the sentient AI.
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for joining us for the continuity report. We'll have another episode for you next week, but be sure to subscribe and tune in to our weekday Non Sequitur news editions.
Yep. And these 3 shows today are going to get turned into the Non Sequitur News Weekend Edition. So you can watch over 2 hours or so. Yeah, it's going to be 2 hours of news ranging from technology to entertainment, everything in between. So we'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, YouTube. Bye-bye, Twitch.